Welcome back to our channel. What's this, our 5th episode?
Yeah, this is number 5. Welcome to our channel. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Remy.
And you're tuned into A Life Worth Loving.
Woo! We love our life. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us. And last week, we did an episode on decision making, which was inspired by Dr. Dharius and one of his sermons. So today, we're going to finish that conversation because we over-recorded it. Brooklyn.
Bless you.
Okay, wait.
We got a little pup over here.
We got a baby over here. So, I forgot what I was saying.
We're going to share part 2.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. We're going to share part 2 because last week we recorded a long episode and we wanted to be super respectful of your time. So we cut it into 2 pieces. Today you get part 2. So.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I hope it blesses you the way it blessed us. And comment, let us know what you think about it. How did we make sure we were growing together while dating, engaged, and married? Yeah, so dating, right? I think communication, the devotionals that we decided to do, I think those type of things, just being vulnerable with one another, opening up discussions. We had Friday night date nights. Yeah, so we were just
online. Like on FaceTime.
On FaceTime.
Because we were in a pandemic and we were in different parts of the country.
Yeah, so we made space for one another to have fun. We watched church together.
Yeah, we watched movies together. Yeah. We read books together. My favorite part was the date nights though, because what we did on our date nights was compile like questions that we wanted to ask each other. And sometimes Brandon would send me food and wine, and we would like eat dinner together, have a glass of wine together, and just ask questions, like fun questions, silly questions, deep questions. But we go back and forth alternating, and that was one of the main ways that we stayed connected. Because we were constantly getting to know each other, which is typical in a dating relationship. It's trickier to maintain the process of constantly getting to know each other after you think you know each other already. Yeah. So that was us in dating. Engaged. Want to talk about our engaged process?
Yeah, I think it was a lot. We had a lot of different activities in our engagement. The wedding planning process was really fun, but my favorite part I would have to say the premarital counseling. There was shout out to our pastors, Pastor Christina and Pastor Stefan. We met bi-weekly or weekly?
Bi-weekly.
Yeah, we met bi-weekly and...
Or was it weekly? I don't know. We met a lot.
We met a lot, but they really brought the best out of us and challenged us.
And the worst.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the worst had to come out of us to get to the best because you can't heal what you don't reveal. I think Lauryn Hill may have said that.
Lauryn Hill?
Yeah.
I think Jay-Z said it.
But, somebody said it.
Yeah.
But you can't hear what you don't reveal, so we had to go through the hard stuff too.
Maybe did say that.
Maybe.
Right.
How you gonna win if you ain't right with it?
Oh, there you go. She got bars.
But that was important for us because we wanted to make sure, like we already knew that we were in it. We loved each other regardless of the demons that did end up coming out. But it's better to get them out, get through it, and find a solution to move forward now. Yeah. Before getting to marriage.
For sure. I think our willingness to find our pastors, to ask them for help, because of course we could have read books and
which we did,
yeah, but we wanted to bring some wise counsel in to help us. We needed someone close to us. We look for someone close in our age, someone that we can relate to, and they had a beautiful picture of what life could be. So just like we would love to, reach back, we appreciated Pastor Stefan and Pastor Christina for reaching back to us and helping us strengthen our relationship and prepare us for marriage. And we did an activity on Ephesians, and love is patient, love is kind, and we had to put our names where love was. And then we had to question, is Brandon patient? Is Brandon kind? And that's through all things. Love.
Is Brandon stubborn?
Yeah. So that when you thought that you've
Does
done.
Brandon count right or wrongs?
Right.
Like the entire Ephesians 5, I forget the exact verse,
Mm-hmm.
but we had to put our names in there and genuinely ask those questions and
Mm-hmm.
hold ourselves accountable.
Exactly. Yeah. So there were. It was a beautiful process, and I would say through that engagement phase, we really got to know each other on a deeper level, but together. It was like, okay, at the end of the day, we have to tie this in with one another, so to see if we're not see if we're compatible for marriage, but just to get to marriage, we had to fine tune one another.
Yeah, and fine tune ourselves.
Fine tune ourselves.
So it was a lot of self-reflection, and one thing that we wanted to be sure of when it came to picking our premarital counselors was that they were like real people, like down to earth, have gone through some things, did not always get it right, but somehow they're still living out the grace of God. And we found that to be one of our pastors' testimony of how they even met and how they got together, and their story was so similar to ours. And to just like for Brandon to feel so comfortable opening up to someone, like they had a lot of similarities too within their past, and that helped us realize that A, it's not about perfection, it's about progression, and B, you can never be too far gone to come back to God and for you to be fully redeemed and have a full life promised to you. So throughout that process, we were able to be honest. We didn't have to put on a facade because our pastors were so perfect. We didn't have to just like hold back on what we were struggling with. We were able to be extremely upfront. We got real feedback. We had real breakthrough. And there were a lot of things that we did not agree on that we worked through when it came to premarital counseling. Like even we were going back and forth on the amount of money we wanted to spend on the wedding and like where we were going to live when it came to either Philadelphia or LA. And even like the leaving and cleaving situation, we had to talk a lot through honor and order when it came to wife and family. So premarital counseling was excellent. It was so beneficial. It was so raw. It was so real. And we have like, that is our advice to anyone who is on the journey to engagement. Like, of course, like individual counseling is excellent and you should do that as well. But when it comes to bettering and fine tuning and sharpening that iron with iron, you
need some guidance.
You need guidance. And I would absolutely recommend premarital counseling to everyone.
For sure. How do we make sure we're growing together while married?
Yes. Yeah. How do we make sure we're growing together while married?
Yeah, so
that's fun because we're married.
Have a baby.
No.
We grow. The family grows.
I mean, my stomach is growing, and the family grows.
That's
constantly dating each other.
For sure.
You can't stop doing the things that worked. Just because you're now married does not mean you stop the effort. And you have to continue dating. You have to make time for each other, make room for each other. And as life happens, we change and we evolve in different seasons. So we have to continuously get to know each other too. Yeah. Like now that we're both preparing to be parents, who we are is changing. Like he's becoming a father, I'm becoming a mother. So the way he responds to certain things now is different than he did. The way we decide to spend money is different than we did. So just getting to know each other, even the pain that we have and the amount of like disappointment and upset, like all that is now different too. Yeah. So just like making sure that we constantly stay connected, that we continue to dream together, that we continue to talk through, not just talk about and then just like continue through. But like we stay connected by talking through. We sit down and we have honest conversations and we talk until we have a solution and until we're both okay.
Understanding what we're going through, being just keeping that level of vulnerability up. Yeah. And for me to be able to open up to you keeps me connected because I feel just being able to feel safe with you and knowing I can come to you with certain things that I'm going through. I think that's like one of the biggest parts of connection for me. I think before, like prior to marriage or prior to dating you, I didn't open up. So that was like that safe space because it was like, oh, I don't have to feel anyway. But once I'm totally vested in opening my heart to you, I'm already connected. So it's like, okay, I need to feed more by sharing what I'm going through.
Yeah.
So
definitely vulnerability. And also just like staying best friends.
Yeah.
Like just because you're married doesn't mean that you have to remove all the other titles. Like you should still be friends. Just like that's where we started. We never want to not be that anymore. And especially when you live at home, when you live together and you do everything together, you want to like it and like the person.
Yeah.
So that's a way we stay connected. Is like we do nearly everything together. Of course, we have our individual community because that's too heavy of a burden to put on one person. But we do the majority of the things that we do together as friends.
Yeah, the friendship is vital. Because it's literally for better or for worse. So whatever my worst, Remy shows up as my friend. Your friend, you're gonna show up for. You know, through it's like literally through death do us part. And it's just the need to be there for one another, which we love. Like Remy said, we do almost everything together.
Yeah, stay connected through prayer is important too.
For sure.
Because sometimes things are just out of our realm of possibility, and sometimes you naturally do feel disconnected, and you just have to pray about it. Like, Lord, how can I connect more with my husband's emotional needs? I don't really have that answer, but God does. So praying about placing the gentleness on my heart to deal with him in a rough season is important. And even to just stay connected spiritually by watching church together and going to church together and going to Bible studies together, that keeps us connected on that level too.
Cooking together.
Having our nights, our date nights, dreaming together is so important too.
We have our vision. Like even with our YouTube channel, this is literally we come up with things to talk about. We want to do this together. We want to build together. Like Remy said, dream. We have such a large vision and so many different visions that we have to find a way to keep growing with one another. So this YouTube channel that we have it's us shoulder to shoulder, heart to heart, just being vulnerable, sharing our thoughts and emotions with one another.
I dream for a living. Like honestly, I'm a big dreamer. So to have someone who I can dream with is fun. Like we dream of our future together. We dream of our next vacation and how we're going to raise our baby, and we dream about what's next for us when it comes to YouTube. We pray about how God is going to use us and just try to stay as connected as we can to each other's hearts so that we are moving in the right direction. And vision is important too, as we mentioned earlier. It's all a lot of this stuff you end up repeating through different phases, but it just looks different. So
our next question is, what were some negative characteristics we hope were just a phase, and how did we evolve in those areas?
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
I would definitely say join together. We both had some stubbornness to work out, and for myself, I prayed it was just a phase, and I didn't realize how combative I was in a way. Like my desire to get my point across, and my desire for Remy to understand my opinion. And what I had to realize was I was being we both had to be seen, and whether we agreed with one another or not, we'll get there. But we had to hear one another. We had to it had to be a mutual I guess level of respect, where I can say what I have to say, but also understanding that Remy didn't have to just subscribe to what I was saying right then and there. And I think that's what I wanted. So I think that level, I think I was pretty stubborn in a way, and I didn't really want to change how I felt or see things, especially when things got hot. Sometimes we had to table things, and that was a challenge for us also, because we would table topics, but we wouldn't come back. And then somehow it would come back and it would blow up, because we never really came back and tried to soften things and come to an understanding. We just brush it under the rug. But when that rug, gets, moved a little bit,
the emotions are even heightened when it comes back up again a second time.
For sure, things start to rise. So I would definitely say this, like, I prayed that stubbornness was just a phase for both of us, and it was. We have our moments, but now we're at a place where we can table things and come back to it, right?
And we've done less tabling. I think we've been like actually getting through conversations. Yeah. But when it comes to the stubbornness, the one thing that I do want to point out is when you're so stubborn about getting your point across, your ears are closed to hearing the other person's pain. And no matter like how right you are, if you hurt that person, then they deserve to be heard, and you should apologize for that, because you're still accountable whether you meant it or not. So if Brandon would hurt my feelings and he didn't mean it, so what? You still hurt my feelings. Say sorry and be accountable for how your words came out. Regardless of what you meant, regardless of your intention, your outcome equals my pain. So you have to pay attention to my pain regardless of like your whole intention behind it. So that was one of the things that we had to work through when it came to stubbornness, is not being so like, but this is what I meant, and this is what I said, and this is what I know to be right and to be factual. Because while that has its place, it does not address what's really the problem, and the real problem is the person who feels the pain.
Yeah, we are learning this right now. Like, I had to like recognize the growth that we've gone through. Like, even I think it was last week where you was like, don't move, don't do anything, I'll be right back. And then when she walked away, I put on like a YouTube video to watch while I was doing something. But I was literally just doing it until she came back.
He doesn't understand being still. Yeah,
I wasn't still, right? Remy was hurt because she felt like I dismissed the conversation, but I was really, just killing time until she came back. Although my intentions were something different on how I made Remy feel, I had to recognize those feelings. And prior to that, like months ago, a year ago, I would have been like, Remy's tripping right now. Like why
it's
you?
Not that
it's
big
not
of a
that.
Deal.
It's
I literally
not that
just
deep.
put something on in the meantime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
which is actually like true, you know, like it's not that deep, but it was deep for me.
It's deep for her, and I have to cater to that. Yeah,
exactly.
I have to recognize what is felt in that moment, and I think that's key. Like to say, hey, babe, understand I didn't mean that, but let's work through what you're going through right now. Yeah. And I think not being so closed off to how she felt actually helped her get through those feelings, because once you cut someone's feelings off and dismiss it, it's like there's no way you can get through to one another. But if I continue to say like, hey babe, I love you, let's continue to talk about what we're going through, YouTube is shut down, let's talk about it, that helps make things a little lighter. Yeah. Although it may be difficult to have the conversation is still had, and then we just eventually it'll get better. Things start to soften.
Yeah.
And
with this situation, it was interesting because like I also had to put into perspective that he meant no harm. Mm-hmm. Like I knew that he wasn't doing anything to be facetious, but I still felt dismissed. So I was a little shut down with explaining to him my feelings, because I knew his intention was pure. Mm-hmm. I knew that he didn't actually mean to dismiss me. We weren't even talking about anything serious. I don't even know what it was, but whatever it was that we were talking about, I was like, hold that thought. I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm pregnant, so I pee like every 15 minutes. I gotta go to the bathroom. And when I got back, he noticed that my energy was different. Mm-hmm. I didn't call it out to him because like, once again, I knew that he didn't mean anything by it, but I was still affected. Yeah. But I wasn't comfortable enough like expressing that it was something that bothered me, because I was like, this is weird, why are you upset? So it wasn't until he said, what's wrong? Like, are you crying? I'm like, I said I'd be right back, and you already like onto something else. And he's like, well, you can pause it. And then I paused and I was like, forget it. Just if you want to listen to whoever it is doing whatever they're doing, then you should do that instead. And we just like finished making the bed together, and then I went and I did my own thing, which was come in the living room and start reading, because I felt like in that moment, I received his action as, I'd rather do this than listen to you, which wasn't true. So that's why it's important to communicate through and to not just end the conversation with, oh, I just put it on while you peed. And sorry, that's a little aggressive. I just put it on while you went to the bathroom. And for me to walk away as if everything was okay. Because then he realized that that was just me walking away. So he came over and maybe after his program ended, he came over and was like, is everything okay? Are you sure everything's okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Once again, the stubbornness. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. He's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Went back to reading my book. And then you came again with sparkling water and some soft music and was like, slow dance with me, baby. So I got up and we started slow dancing in the living room, and I was able to tell him, like, yeah, I was upset. And he was able to tell me, I'm sorry. And it's like, of course you didn't mean it, but I know that already. That does not negate the fact that it hurt me.
Yeah, for sure. I think just the accountability, just the decision to just be soft in those moments. Because you can't fight fire with fire, you know. And if Remy is, and not saying she was fired up, but I realized there was an issue. So for me to come with attitude like,
but you know I ain't mean it.
You know I ain't mean it. It's not that serious.
Man, whatever. Go be mad.
we're not gonna get anywhere with that.
Yeah.
And so I have to be soft for you. And you're pregnant. There's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of
added emotions that wouldn't necessarily be there otherwise.
Yeah, and let's be honest. Before you were pregnant,
I was emotional in general.
She was emotional.
So I'm like emotional times 29.
Yeah. So it's just a constant challenge to just be there and show up for you.
Yeah. And when it comes to the tabling process, don't leave it. Make sure you pick back up and agree on when. Like, there's this saying that you should never go to bed upset. And I halfway agree with that, because my one half of agreement is that you don't want to like go to bed upset, because you never know what can happen with your partner. But you also don't want to like charge at each other to try to get it figured out, just to get it figured out before you go to bed. Like, I'd rather us say, this isn't working, I love you, but let's just go to bed and pick it up tomorrow with a fresh perspective, than to have that like limited knowledge of like, never go to bed upset, and that
like, no, we got to get through this right now.
And that's like so false. But there is a responsibility to picking it back up. Even if the next day you feel like you're okay, pick it back up. Say, I'm sorry. Say, I realize that hurt you. My intention is never to hurt you, even when it happens. I'm sorry, and I won't do it again. Like, whatever that looks like, just pick it back up.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
So yeah, that's the answer to that, is both of our stubbornness. So we both had to pray through that. We done devotionals on anger management, and both try to just honor each other and respect each other, and not like, we've been doing this for about 2 years now. We've been married for almost 1, but we now know each other's triggers, and we don't pull those triggers. We don't go below the belt when we're arguing. When we disagree, we don't like disrespect each other. We've learned how to fight. And we're going to disagree. We're going to not always have the same perspective. We're going to get hurt. We're going to do all the things, but none of it is an excuse to be disrespectful. None of it is an excuse to put your partner down. None of it is an excuse to dishonor your partner in the way in which you speak to them.
Yeah. You hit it right on the head, babe.
Bam, next question.
All right. What has been the biggest character evolution that we've noticed in our partner?
Oh, I'd say for you, gentleness and action.
Gentleness and action.
Going off the stubborn thing, he already admitted that he was stubborn. So to see that 360 where he no longer focuses so much on what he meant, but just focuses on the solution. Like, sometimes he goes straight to the solution because he don't be feeling like that with me sometimes. Like, babe, I'm sorry that upset you. Now that I know that upsets you, I will do my absolute best, and I do it, and then we're okay. So I appreciate the gentleness, even when it's like so ridiculous. And even just like understanding my needs more. Like, being pregnant, I mean, I've been needy in general. Like, I always want to be with him and like in a space and stuff like that. But sometimes he wants his space too. But instead of being like, Remy, I need my space, he'll just like you know, decide to read the book with me, or he'll include me in a little bit more, and just like even today when we were laying on the couch, you said, I'm gonna go to bed now, and I said, are you inviting me to bed too? And he's like, do you need an invitation to come to bed? Like, okay, Remy, do you want to join me in bed?
Come on.
So just like understanding that, like, sometimes I want you to say, like, okay, come on, let's move from one room to the next.
Right, instead of just leaving you.
Instead of just leaving me. And all that is like so ridiculous. But I realize that in you, that you have become more sensitive to my needs. And that even if it's not like natural to you, you think more about what it is that I need in that moment, and you make sure to do it.
Oh, that's beautiful, babe. So I would say kind of similar, not very similar to you, but I noticed that in the past, when I've been learning how to communicate, right?
Yeah.
And through passion, sometimes I'll say things the wrong way. And in the past, even though I said it the wrong way and I meant for good intention, it would be like, why would you say something like that? And you would be so upset with me. And I'm like, oh my God, I should not have said, I just wish I didn't say that.
And I get so caught up on how
I said it. And it was like, oh my goodness. Like, it was like, I wish I could just take these 3 words back, because we would not be here right now. But I think you evolved so much in that space to give me room to fall.
I'm hot.
You hot? You, woo, it's a hot topic. Yeah, but no, you've given me you've evolved in the realm of giving me space. Not space physically, but
like grace.
Yeah, grace.
Yeah.
To just
correct yourself.
Yeah, to correct
and not hold you so accountable for misspeaking. Yeah. Exactly,
for misspeaking, because I have misspoken quite a few times with this lovely lady here, and the grace that she's given me, I love that so much about her. Also, just evolving as a new mom, you've been killing it.
No, baby.
You've been literally killing it. Just your research on what's good for baby Malachi, and things to do around the house. It's just wonderful just to see you evolve from a wife to a mom now. It's just something special. The glow is crazy. The glow is wild. You see. But yeah, I would say the evolution, the evolving through stubbornness has been wonderful.
The evolution.
Oh, sorry, I messed up again. Yeah, just the evolution and growth as a wife, just the willingness to be in community with other, wise moms and wise wives. It's just beautiful to see,
Nice.
So yeah, we hope that you enjoyed this part 2 of our discussion, and let us know what you think. Comment, like, subscribe, share with your friends. Just share. And we love you.
And thank you.
Thank you for tuning to A Life Worth Loving.
Have a good one.
Peace, y'all.
Bye.